What's up, YouTube? I'm Lo.
And I'm Emma.
And you've reached Book Girls on the Internet! Okay, we are reviewing the Scholomance series, which is a trilogy. I did not finish it. By Naomi Novisk, pronounced she, hers. So this trilogy compiles 3 titles, obviously because it's a trilogy. A Deadly Education, The Last Graduate, and The Golden Enclaves. I think I finished A Deadly Education and I'm maybe a 1/4 into The Last Graduate, but I think I'm freezing that book. So, Emma, what is it about?
So the main character,
Elle.
I was like, whose name I don't remember, is going. No, it's not her first year. It's her second last year. She is a student at a magical school that's sort of like underground, not really super clear, but essentially it's this world where there are things that, oh my god, I read this so long ago and I don't remember all the terms. So.
They're called mouths.
Okay, so there's mouths that try to eat. They're like magical mana. They're magical energy, basically. And when you're a child or when you're going through puberty, you're like giving off this mana, like on super high volume, basically. So the world as a collective, to protect their children who were getting killed by the mouths, and kind of allow their population to flourish, came together, created this underground school. And you would go in as a kid and you would stay there for a certain number of years. You would kind of train and educate yourself. And then you would have a graduation and then you get to live in the world. One thing that took me a really long time to realize is there's no teachers at this school. The school is the school.
Oh, maybe that's why I was just like, what?
But
there's a library.
Yeah.
But they have classes.
Yeah. But there's no teachers. So when she talks about like her language class, she would go into like the soundproof booth because everyone would be speaking and stuff and practicing their languages. And you basically like turn away and then assignment would appear in front of you and you'd have to work on the assignment. And at the end you'd like hand it in. But there's no teachers. Oh. It took me so long to realize
Not
that.
gonna lie, okay, I did not... like I said, like I'm really frozen on like the second book, but isn't Elle such a confusing narrator?
Yes.
Everything is just literally, the narrator is in stream of consciousness at all times. There's no, in French we say ni queue ni tête, means like there's literally no sense to it. She's just talking at the reader. I'm just like, I'm so confused.
It is chaotic, and at first you're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. I think it was just really hard for me to get into it and like absorb the story through her stream of consciousness.
Yeah, once I got into it, I was like in it, and I read all 3 pretty quickly because I read the first 2, and then I was like, oh my god, when does the third one come out? And then I googled it and it was like, next week, and that just worked out really well.
Yeah.
But for the thing that sucked me in was both the first book and the second book end on these like giant cliffhangers. So I just wanted to know what happened, and I really, really enjoyed the plot. But yes, I agree that the writing style and narration is chaotic.
Yeah. And maybe it's also because sometimes like I get in this place where it's like I keep comparing a book to another. So this one somehow, because I guess it was like witchcraft or whatever, I kept thinking about Hogwarts and Harry Potter and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, Harry Potter was so good. It was like third-person narrator, so it was like clear.
Okay, but fantasy's so different. Like,
you're right, but I was just, I don't know. I think I may get back into it and just be like, okay, like fresh slate, like I can get into the second book. But tell us about what happens to Elle and Orion.
So Orion is, he turns into a love interest, fully spoilers, so for
yeah,
you
that's
and
fine.
audience.
Yeah.
First they're like not getting along, but he's basically this like kind of quiet kid at school who keeps to himself but is obsessed with hunting mouse. So even though the kids get sent to this school for protection where there's no mouse, some still get in. But it's
This school
much
is also
fewer.
in ruins, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you find out kind of more about in the third book, like why it's so, or second and third book, I guess. Anyway, so Orion is like obsessed with hunting mouse all the time, and there's also, I forget all the words, but there's different ways that different, are they called sorcerers? I don't know.
Maleficers.
Right, like
Something,
replenish their magic, basically.
Oh.
And for L, you can either, what do they call it? They're like pure, so you can get it by doing physical activity. But her style is like basically an evil witch, so you can get, I don't know, I'm putting quotations around everything, but you can, if she kind of leaned into her evil witch mentality, she could get that replenished magic by killing things. So either killing her classmates or killing animals or killing whatever. Orion gets it from killing mouse, which is very rare. So he loves killing mouse and he gets all this like energy from it.
And he's like strong and popular.
Well, he's not. He's really odd. Like, he's kind of a dork, but he's popular because he's strong. So he, like, the popular kids want him to be with them because your final, the way that you graduate from this school is you have to, like, every year, it's super weird. Every year, the school, your dormitory, so your whole year is on one floor, shifts down a level. And then when you get to the bottom level, it opens up and you have to basically traverse this thing and you go through the gates and you go back to the real world. The school has broken down because they used to have this like fire system that would burn out all the mouths in the graduation hall, and it's since broken down. So graduation, many students die and they never make it out of the school. So people try to make.
I did not put that together.
Oh my god, how far did you get? So people are always trying to make alliances because they need to have a strong student.
But I did not understand that.
The
that
fire
was
system?
I just thought that the school was evil.
No, the school wants people to survive. So it's funny, in the second book, she develops this relationship with the school and you kind of realize it's a little bit sentient, and it starts leading her, or trying to lead her to this path so that she can save the students, essentially. And she's been kind of this oddball, like doesn't really have a lot of friends, people don't like her, she's weird, and then
she's almost suspicious of the Enclave kids,
which rightly so. But essentially she comes up with this plan where they're going to, at the end of the second book, open the gates to the real world, play this, someone cast this spell, which is basically a Pied Piper spell for all of these mouths around the world, bring them all into the school, and then basically blow the school up. They're like, the school's not working anymore, this is the only way we can try to get everyone out. And they do it, but at the end, so they're like, okay, as this spell's going, they have this like super elaborate system and they are doing all these practice runs and stuff, and the last people out are going to be Elle and Orion. And at the last minute, and her and Orion have a weird relationship, like they're kind of dating but they're both kind of not admitting to liking each other, and like they're not fully kind of traditional boyfriend girlfriend, I guess. Anyways,
I thought that was annoying.
At the last minute, so it's just her and Orion, and they're like about to leave, there's all these things everywhere. Orion basically says like, I love you, and shoves her out the door and closes it.
Why?
That's how the second book ends. So you're like, again, a huge cliffhanger. And he's like, because they were getting overwhelmed, the plan was like sort of breaking down. Everyone had gotten out except for the two of them. So,
do we ever find out why the mom says stay away from Orion?
Yeah, because it's not because Orion is bad. It's because Elle's gonna fall in love with Orion and be so sad to lose him.
So he dies?
Well, in the third book, he doesn't. That she actually does manage to get him out. He has beaten them all. And so remember what are they called? Mamas or something? I think that's in book one, where the thing comes in the library and she kills it. And it's like a type of mal that is impossible to kill. And she kills one, which is unheard of. And in the graduation hall, there are two big ones. You basically, I can talk about the plot, but what I really liked at the end, the twist that I did not see coming, was it turns out that to create the Enclaves, they have to sacrifice a child and turn it into a mama. And that's how mamas came to be.
Oh my god, this is so evil!
So,
Wait, what kind of child? Any child?
A child from the Enclave, basically. But any child, I think, if I remember correctly. So Orion's mom, who's high up in the New York Enclave, basically like experiments on him, and I forget all the details, read the book, but he's like a mama version of a student. So he's not a mama. But after they blow up the school and she's like, what the hell am I gonna do now? She decides she's gonna kill the mama. I forgot the order of operations, but one of her friends ends up being the kid that's gonna be sacrificed for the new Enclave in, not China, because there's already one in China. I don't know. But her friend is gonna be the one being sacrificed, so they save her at the last minute. It's very exciting. But she goes around and she's like, I'm gonna start hunting them down. But remember how, or actually you don't, because I think it was in this season 2, the second book. Some of the Enclaves had like blown up, and people were like, what the hell is going on? Is there going to be an Enclave war? What's happening? And it was because she killed the mama.
That's actually...
So when you kill the mama...
That's where I am in the second book, where everyone's figuring out, I think it's the Japan one that blows up first or something.
Right.
I'm at that part and I'm just like, what?
So she killed the mama in the library. And that was the mama that was created when they sacrificed a child to create that Enclave.
Oh, okay, good. What do you think about the world building overall?
I loved it by the end. At the beginning, you're like, the fact that it took me so long to realize there's no teachers in this school when all she talks about is school. I'm like,
yeah, because it didn't occur to me until you said it.
Yeah.
I think also like the first person narration is just like, it's so hard because it's like, we see everything through Elle's point of view. So sometimes she just doesn't really take time to like describe, like she explains, but she's like not really like describing. Yeah. Okay. I really like the story though.
Yeah, and like that would be a cool, if they made that into movies, I would for sure watch that.
It would be really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I will read it. I don't know.
I spoiled a lot, but there's still a lot more.
Oh, I'm sure, but it's always fun to experience the heroes.
And I like, much as her narration is annoying, I like how sarcastic she is, and even when she starts kind of evolving into the hero in the like second and third book, well, more so the second, I guess. The third, she's kind of a solo hero, but whatever. She's still like sassy and cheeky and like doesn't care to play people's games, which I kind of like, because that stays true from the beginning, where she's like, I don't like the Enclaves everyone wants to get with the Enclaves because they want those alliances, and she's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. She definitely has an eye roll tone to her.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So plot I liked. I get what you mean about narration. And world building was good but a little confusing at first.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it was just, I mean, to be honest, like, I'm just someone who enjoys fantasy / magic that I can already picture. And if you've watched our review of A Broken Blade, the reason I liked it so much, it was just like, okay, like, this is easy for me to get. Like, I can get into the actual story.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to imagine, like, okay, the school, the food, the mouse, like...
Yeah.
In book 1, she even explains like mana versus something else. And then she explains also like the crystals and having to charge them, and I was like, okay, this is very technical. Like, this is
but really... I find that is like really common with a lot of fantasy. Like that is why when I'm starting a new fantasy series, I'm like, ugh, I have to be in the right mindset because I know I have to fucking focus.
Yeah.
Like, what does this mean? How does this interact?
Yeah.
What are the rules? Who are the players? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I'll review it eventually, but I read Monsters Born and Made recently. It's also like a debut fantasy, and I was just like, oh my god, this is very hard.
Like, can someone just draw me a map?
I know. We're just like, do we have like YouTube explainers for this world?
It's not us.
But okay, thanks for reviewing, Emma.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much for watching. If you like our video, please subscribe.